Hey everyone, welcome to Polar Gaming. I'm doing a list react and critique. Uh, Here it is. One Trick Pony. It's got a Polemarch Warlord, Atalanta Spear, Inscription of Lighter Alloys. We have 5-block Phalangites with Sacred Band, Dorilates. We have Thorakites with the Minotaur. We have Hephaestian. We have MSU of Minotaur Thyreans, Aristarch with Aristia. Also in a 5-block Phalangites with Dorilates and Sacred Band. We got Chariots. 2 Flog. 2 Skorpios. Okay. Got some notes. 12 activations plus strat stack. Did I miss Selinoi? Yeah, I did. There is a MSU of Selinoi here. I missed that completely. Thoras create zones, limit opponent movement. That's true. Phalangites, high volume attacks, Chariots apply pressure, bait charges, help with objective play, Skorpios for damage dealing, 2 Flogs for killing zones. Ideally, zones my opponent chooses not to dedicate resources towards. Hephaestian Thyreans act as main cleave threat. Main concerns that Thyreans are second heavy for reinforcements and die quickly from everything. Considering replacing the Thyreans with Sacred Band or more Thorakites for spell interference. Oh, for the Sacred Band, right. Consistency, respectively. Also, if I choose Sacred Band, I can cast spells on either foul block for free. Thorakites give me another 12 points to spend. Okay. So, you've noted that this is for a high level competitive event. So, something that you need to expect and have a plan to beat. Meta right now is triple spiders. Can you beat spiders? And in the hands of a good opponent, I don't think your list does. The other things you're looking at are Sorcerer Kings, who are also they'll have like a Mahout. They might have Triple Bird with the Trinvarda. And the other boogeyman to look out for, especially for city-states, is Tempered Dweg. The right Tempered Dweg build will rip city-states apart horribly. Really the best build city-states has for Magma Dweg specifically is Monster Mash. You're clearly not going for Monster Mash. So I'm going to be a little aggressive with what I think of your list because you said you're going to a high level competitive event. You don't have enough activations, and you do not have consistent monster killing. What City States really leans into well right now is one brick of Phalangites. Right? I get wanting to do multiple. I get thinking the Sacred Band are going to be helpful utility. They can be. They certainly help against chip damage. But in order to consistently kill a monster with city states right now, you need a bigger brick of Phalangites. This is something I've specifically been running in the competitive events I've been to, because I can, on a well-timed supremacy from the Polemarch, you could wipe out 2 monsters. Um, it's tricky, but it can be done. Um, but more likely, you're just going to get 1. In order to consistently get 1, you need more volume. When you're going up against an E3 tenacious, fearless spider, you've got to have more volume. So I would highly recommend you drop your second stand of, or not stand, your second brick regiment of Phalangites and just double down on your Polemarch brick. And learn how to play decline flank with it. Now the rest of your list. Your Thorakites, they have to have an officer. They have to have an officer or they have to have a character. Otherwise, they will die to everything. Their resolve of 2 is abysmal. So what I would say, run them with the Aristarch or give them a Lokagos. They have to have that to be effective. I personally really like running an Aristarch with them. Gives them a little bit more survivability, gives them a reroll on their charge. And then you can also take the Andromarchos with them. And now when you're entouraging, you've got Flurry. I've consistently had Thorakites kill 2-3 regiments before they die, running just the MSU plus Cow, Andromarchos, and an Aristarch. No other upgrades. You can easily cut through a lot of regiments with that, assuming you're positioning well. Having a heavy is fine. Having 2 can be okay. It's not optimal, but if you're willing to risk having a more difficult reinforcement curve, it's fine. What else? You've got 2 light regiments. That's fine. I wouldn't necessarily push to 3 light regiments. You don't need to. If you're more comfortable having less scoring regiments and a safer reinforcement curve, more early presence, like if you struggle against opponents who box you in with light regiments, take more of your own light regiments. Otherwise, 2 is sufficient. I usually just run 1, personally. Your Chariots. I don't like this strategy. Objective markers are a bit of a bait in that if you have an opportunity to take one, great. I do not think you should be building a list around killing objective markers. You may end up going to this event and there's like 1 scenario with objective markers. Maybe all the scenarios you play have objective markers, but you might run into very few. You can't count on every objective or every scenario having objective markers, but you can count on every scenario having zones. So build your strategy around playing zones, not markers. I think if you're really concerned about limiting markers, just run 1 Flog. Skorpios is just better. It's got longer range. Once you get around and threaten flanks with them, they really start cutting through opponents' regiments. Concern with was it Thyreans dying to everything? Thyreans are weird, right? They've got low defense, but they have a really high amount of wounds. and tenacious. So I wouldn't worry too much about them dying to everything. What's more concerning is positioning them because they are slow. Um, so um, having Juggernaut helps mitigate that, but they're still slow enough that you have to be very careful about where you deploy them because that's basically where they're going to be all game. They're not, they're not your Phalangites brick with lighter alloys that can just suddenly zoom off. They're not companion cav that can also just zoom off. They don't have a third action like fluid formation or anything like that, so they're slow. Hephaestian's fine. He's got decent speed. He's got decent wounds. He's got like good output against um, basically non-monsters for the most part, because a lot of monsters have evasion, so he can bounce off of them. Um, but yeah, ultimately beef up that brick and shore up your Thorakites with either character um, or give them a lock ghost at the very least. They really, really need that increased resolve. Um, yeah, and then don't build around objective marker play. Have a plan for it, sure, but don't build your list around it because, like I said, you may have just one scenario with it, and then what have you built your list around? One scenario out of 4, 5, 6 scenarios that you play. So yeah, hope that is helpful for you. Again, I'm being a little harder on this list because of the event you say you're taking it to. Um, so hope you can work with that.